Once upon a time, in a peaceful meadow on the outskirts of a bustling town, there lived a young and curious rabbit named Whiskers. Whiskers was no ordinary rabbit. He had a pure white coat, bright blue eyes, and a distinctive twitch in his left ear that made him unique among his furry friends. Whiskers had always been intrigued by stories of a distant land rumored to be enchanted with magic. It was said that any creature who reached that land could have their dearest wishes come true. Whiskers was determined to find this magical place and make a wish, not just for himself, but for all the animals in his meadow. One sunny morning, as the golden rays of the sun kissed the meadow, Whiskers set out on his adventure. He hopped along, over pebbles and through daisies, feeling the warm breeze rustle his fur. He knew that the journey ahead was full of challenges, but he was not afraid. He believed that his strong determination would guide him to the enchanted land. The first obstacle Whiskers encountered was a deep and wide river, spanned only by a precarious, moss-covered log. Though Whiskers was a good jumper, the log was too unstable to cross. After a moment of contemplation, Whiskers had a clever idea. He found a tall reed, chewed it down to size, and used it to make a bridge to the other side. On the other side of the river, Whiskers met a wise old owl named Oliver perched in a tall oak tree. Whiskers shared his quest with Oliver and asked if he knew the way to the enchanted land. Oliver nodded sagely and said, "The enchanted land is real, but the path is perilous. To reach it, you must pass through the dark and mysterious forest, cross the endless desert, and climb the steep, snowy mountains. It is a journey filled with danger, but if you are determined and kind, you will make it." With this advice in mind, Whiskers set off towards the looming forest. The forest was indeed a dark and foreboding place, with trees that seemed to whisper secrets and shadows that played tricks on the mind. Whiskers remembered Oliver's words, determined and kind, and carried on. As he ventured deeper into the forest, Whiskers encountered a distressed squirrel named Sammy. Sammy had lost his way and was crying. Whiskers offered Sammy some food from his own stash and comforted him. Sammy was grateful and told Whiskers about a hidden path that would lead him out of the forest. Whiskers thanked Sammy, and they both continued on their separate journeys. Emerging from the forest, Whiskers found himself in the vast and scorching desert. The sun beat down relentlessly, and there was no shade in sight. He could feel the hot sand beneath his paws, and his throat was parched from the dry air. With determination, he continued to hop forward, not letting the harsh conditions deter him. In the desert, Whiskers stumbled upon a tortoise named Timmy. Timmy was struggling to carry a heavy backpack filled with water bottles and food. Whiskers offered to help carry the load, and together they trudged through the unforgiving desert, taking turns to rest. Timmy, grateful for the assistance, shared a piece of advice about a hidden oasis. Reaching the oasis, they replenished their energy and said their goodbyes. Whiskers, now well prepared with extra water, continued his journey. He had made friends and spread kindness along the way. As the days turned into weeks, Whiskers eventually reached the base of the snowy mountains. It was a stark contrast to the previous environments he had encountered. The cold wind stung his nose, and the ground was covered in a thick blanket of snow. Still, Whiskers was determined to climb to the top. At the foot of the mountains, Whiskers met a playful fox named Fiona who was skilled at climbing. Fiona offered to guide Whiskers up the treacherous slopes. With her help, Whiskers reached the summit, where he saw a magical, glowing portal that was said to lead to the enchanted land. With a grateful heart, Whiskers stepped through the portal, and he found himself in a place that was more beautiful and enchanting than he had ever imagined. The grass was greener, the flowers more vibrant, and the sky bluer than he had ever seen. Whiskers took a moment to make his wish, but as he thought about all the kindness he had received on his journey, he realized that his wish had already come true. He wished for all his animal friends back in the meadow to have their dearest wishes granted, just as his had been. As he returned home, Whiskers shared his adventure and the lessons he had learned about determination and kindness with all his friends. They were inspired by his journey and the magic of the enchanted land. From that day forward, the meadow was a place of hope and kindness, where the animals looked out for each other and helped one another on their quests. Whiskers, the little rabbit with a twitch in his ear, had not only found the enchanted land but had also brought a bit of its magic back home. And so, in the meadow, every act of kindness and determination was believed to be a step closer to making wishes come true. Thanks to the unforgettable adventure of Whiskers, the rabbit with a heart full of love and a spirit full of courage.